Hey guys, just making sure that just trying to get people to come in here. Hi. Hi Sally. Sally is always here. Sally is down. Hello. Hello to you guys too. Hey. Oh, hi Oche. Hi. Hey guys, this is April with Astrologer.com, obviously, and I am back with our weekly coffee talk slash, of course, a weekly astrology update. I missed everybody. I wasn't here last week because I had no voice. I got sick. I lost my voice. I had laryngitis or something, and still, working on getting it back to 100%. But I'm here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well enough. If not, then let me know. So yeah, this is my mug. Every week I try to have a different cool mug, and this is my unicorn one. And the moon is in Pisces today, so it's very appropriate for having a fantasy-driven mug, like unicorn stuff. And do you guys know, if you watch the trends in beauty and makeup and all that stuff, there's a lot of like makeup that comes out right now that's been coming out for a while that is unicorn, like unicorn this, unicorn that, unicorn makeup brushes, unicorn colored makeup and all this stuff. That's all a part of Neptune being in the sign of Pisces. So I always find that very interesting. People are like, what's up with this unicorn trend? Well, because Neptune's in Pisces. Hello, Pisces and Neptune are all about like fantasy and colors, every color of the rainbow, because it's the last sign on the zodiac wheel and all that good stuff. So that's why all the unicorn stuff, but I love it personally. I don't know about you guys. So yeah, what's going on this week now that people are starting to come through? You know me, I have to take a sip of water, a sip of, well, I don't have coffee, I have tea, but you guys can sip your coffee with me, because I do lose my voice easily as a Taurus. It sucks, but hey, what can I do? I can't change my chart, right? Yes, Tarte, Wet and Wild. I'm waiting for that Wet and Wild one to come out. I asked about it at Ulta last night, and the girl was like, what? Huh? She didn't know anything about it, so I'm going to be watching for it myself. But anyway, if you aren't familiar with my weekly Friday broadcast, I usually go over from this Friday to the next Friday what's going on astrologically, what the cosmic weather is like, and I also go over at the end some what I call the coffee talk, which is more like I go over some celebrity stuff that is in the news, but I look at it from an astrological point of view to help people to understand astrology better, because that's something that's like out there in the open, that you see live happening, like people's lives are on display. And so I can explain through astrology so people be like, oh, okay, I get it. So this transit happens, and that's why this person acts like that, or that's why this happened. So whatever. So yeah, and then if there's any time, maybe I could take some questions at the end, but I know Lada is going to come on and do a live immediately following mine. I've got to keep in contact with her and make sure we're good on timing and everything. So, and I apologize for the previous broadcast where it kept cutting in and out, and I think we figured out the problem and got it fixed. So I don't think that'll be happening this time. I don't think we'll be interrupted. And my phone needs to not interrupt us, so I'll turn that off. So yeah, we won't be interrupted. The broadcast won't drag on for 2 hours like it did last time. I felt so bad, like for all of you guys watching and having to go through the glitches and everything. So that shouldn't be happening this time. So I'm not going to have this broadcast be as long. There's actually not really too much happening astrologically, like huge shifts and changes and stuff like that. Not really. Not this coming week from the 19th through the 26th of May. There are a couple of things. I mean, the main one is the sun moving into a new sign tomorrow, which I will talk about. So now that we have enough people here, yeah, let's talk about the weekly astrology, the 19th through the 26th of May. What is going on? What are the major things we can talk about? Well, first of all, today, which is May 19th, excuse me, we have Venus in an opposition to Jupiter. So Venus is in Aries and Jupiter is in Aries. Jupiter is retrograde and they are opposing one another. So Venus and Jupiter are both very like happy planets, okay? They give a happy energy, happy-go-lucky. Venus, of course, you know, the only thing, okay, and you know me by now, if you guys watch, I give both the positive and the negative, the both sides of every aspect, every planet, every sign, everything. So although these are very, what they call the benefic planets in astrology, which give like a happy energy, usually bring good things and blessings into your life, there are downsides to them too. So I'm going to let you know both, okay? So Venus and Jupiter opposition. This is wanting to indulge in the good life, period, point blank, wanting to indulge in the good life. I had a little taste of that yesterday. Today is the exact opposition, but with transits of the planets, it's energy. So it's not just always exact, like measured exact, okay? Like it builds up and then it goes to a peak and then it fades and goes away. So while the transit, the exact conjunction has been building, we've still been feeling the effects of this transit this week. So yeah, the Venus and Jupiter opposition, totally indulging and stuff. I did that with my family yesterday. We just went buying like food and junk food and drinks, and I've never tried this before. Let me try this. Oh, I haven't tried that. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try that. Yesterday with food and drinks, which Venus rules. And it was awesome. And I did have to, yes, and I went to Ulta. Okay, I went to Ulta. You guys know I'm into all the beauty and all that stuff, makeup. I went to Ulta and it was so hard not to go crazy in there, okay? And Venus rules beauty and makeup and products that you use to take care of yourself. So Venus rules all that stuff. So Venus in opposition to Jupiter is causing us to feel a little more indulgent right now, which as long as you have a good grip on yourself, like a good self-control, it's not something that is a bad thing. You know, you can say, hold on, wait a second, let me not go too far with this, okay? But if you have little self-control, like this Venus and Jupiter transit can cause you to indulge so much that maybe like you get a tummy ache or you drink too much alcohol or something, you know, or you drink too much coffee and you're just like, woo, like a little crazy, you know? So it can cause people to be overly indulgent. So just be mindful of that, especially because this is the weekend. The weekend is approaching. And on the weekends, a lot of people like to just kind of escape and get away from the regular mundane life and world, and they just want to dive into other things. And that's the next transit I'm going to get into, which is the 20th. The moon is in Pisces and it's in a conjunction with Neptune. This happens every single month. It's nothing like, oh my God, major shifts and changes. It happens every month. And when the moon and Neptune are together in Pisces, we are all affected by the moon's transits, guys. The moon affects our overall emotions, how we feel about things, our expression of our emotions, like what we're thinking about on the inside and feeling on the inside a lot. And when it's in Pisces and it's conjunct Neptune in Pisces, this is like all like double, triple Pisces energy. This happens mostly on the 20th. In some parts of the world, it might still be the 19th, like late at night when this conjunction exactly happens. But yeah, so escapism is going to be off the chain, like with Moon and Neptune and Venus and Jupiter. But it can equal some really good times this weekend, though. The 19th, 20th, 21st, really good times, especially if you want to do anything based around Venus. Venus-ruled stuff, Neptune-ruled stuff, which is music, which is food. Actually, Venus is everything that we enjoy. You know, everything that is in the material world that brings us happiness and joy. Neptune is more like movies and photography and videography and beauty, makeup, fantasy, music, for some people, recreational, substances to help their minds go way out there and see all these colors and stuff in real life. Yes. And unicorns floating around them. Yeah. Some people like stuff like that. Well, they're going to be like really It's going to be enhanced, that feeling of a need for that over the weekend. 19th, 20th, 21st, you know, it'll start fading off. So yeah, Moon and Neptune, Venus and Jupiter. I hope everybody has the happy times over the weekend that this can bring, and just don't overdo it. Don't lose yourself in overindulgence. That's all I have to say about that in my Forrest Gump voice. So the next transit is the sun moving into Gemini on the 20th. The sun into Gemini. Okay, so the sun in Gemini is, yeah, all this Gemini energy is going to be bestowed upon all of us. Okay, so what is Gemini energy all about? Well, it's chatty, it's witty. It has a little bit of a jokester, trickster energy to it. It's all about conversing with people, pretty much, including people that are strangers to you. Like, you don't really know them very well, but you feel more open to chatting with them. That's Gemini energy. Gemini energy is all about finding like bits and pieces of information, and like all over the place, you know, like just reading a headline really quick and a few lines of it, and then moving on to the next thing, and on to the next thing, and on to the next thing. Gemini energy is all about trying new things. You try something and then, oh, I don't know if I like it, and you move on, move on, move on. And it's an energy that's a little bit ADD-ish, you know, like not being able to fully pay like close attention to one thing and just focus on it, you know. It's more like your mind's here, it's there, it's everywhere, it's all over the place. So yeah, that's Gemini energy. It's really good for multitasking. Well, it can be good and bad for multitasking, let me tell you. I'm a progressed Gemini. I saw somebody say they're a progressed Gemini moon. I'm a progressed Gemini Mars and Sun. I've been a progressed Gemini Sun for many years, and I try to do all these different things at once. Have like 3 different jobs, go to school, do all these projects, be a mom, be here, be there, all these different hats. It's all about wearing different hats, literally and metaphorically speaking, wearing a lot of different hats, being a jack of all trades. So we may be like dispersing our energy out different places. Ooh, and I just noticed my hair is like fuzzy right here. Whatever, it's the morning time where I'm at, so I'm not gonna look my best all the time. But anyway, yeah, it's like dispersing our energy all over the place. I'm DJing too. Yeah, I do DJ as well, RD. Not so much anymore, but it is another thing I do. That's hence the hand movements. But yeah, doing a lot of different things at one time. And Gemini does rule the hands, okay? Using your hands for a lot of things, like talking with your hands. Like right now, Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury's in the sign of Taurus, which is very like a slower moving Mercury. But I have Mercury in Taurus, and I'm a Taurus, Sun, Moon, Mars. So that's why I'm like talking a lot more with my hands, because Mercury is influencing me a lot more. And then once the sun moves into Gemini, we're all going to feel a tinge of that, you know, more so like if you are a Gemini, or it depends on where Gemini is in your chart, of course, how the energy is going to affect your life and transform it. And, you know, for that period of time, that 30 days, what's going to be your focus. But yeah, the sun in Gemini is just going to sprinkle some Gemini energy. And Gemini energy is very lighthearted. It's very lighthearted energy because, like I said, it doesn't like to dwell on things. It likes to keep things moving. Just keep moving on to the next thing, so they can get over things fast. And, you know, so hopefully it'll give us a little bit more lighthearted energy to everyday life, and yeah, just be more open and chatty and stuff. So the next thing is the new moon in Gemini on the 25th of May, 4 degrees of Gemini. So I will go through every sign for this and tell you guys how it's going to affect you, what changes it's going to bring. I'll do it very quickly. Then we'll get to a little bit of celebrity stuff. To be honest, I don't have too much celebrity stuff because I've been really busy catching up on readings because I was sick for a whole week, no voice for a week, and my job is to talk oh my gosh, it was crazy. I have all this work piled up. So I didn't get too much celebrity stuff, but I do have a couple things for you guys. So stay tuned at the end for that. After I go through the new moon, I'll dive into that stuff really quickly. And if you feel like watching, watch. If you don't like it, don't watch. Okay? So the new moon in Gemini, the 25th of May, it's at 4 degrees of Gemini. I didn't see any like major aspects from any other planets that were going to be on the new moon that are aspecting the new moon. I didn't see any, to be honest. So it's like maybe a wide square from Neptune, but I use degrees. Like every astrologer is different with their orbs of degrees in astrology, like how far apart the planets can be to count it as like affecting one another. So yeah, I don't count that square to Neptune as being, yeah. But anyway, so new moon in Gemini, how does it affect every sign? Let me take a sip real quick. And RD, thank you once again for every broadcast that we do here on Astrology, recording all of the times for everything, for every sign. It helps so much. So thank you for that. All right, so for Aries, the new moon in Gemini is in your 3rd house. So new moons tend to, how I interpret the new moons are, they can clear something out in order to welcome in the new, okay? So it can mean new beginnings in whatever area of life it transits for you. So for Aries, this is your 3rd house. This is how you communicate with people. And you know, the 3rd house is also day to day, like how you move around, meaning like how do you get around your city or your town or whatever, wherever you live? Do you travel by bike? Do you travel by car, by taxi, by public transportation? How do you travel about? So that's also the 3rd house. So I've seen a lot of times when there's a new moon in someone's 3rd house, they get a new car or they change their route to work. Those are like just little things, changes that can happen. Nothing huge. I hardly ever see huge changes, crazy life changes with events happening in someone's 3rd house. It depends on the planet though. We'll talk about that another time. But a new moon in your 3rd house is more, I think it's a little more subtle than it happening in other houses, to be honest, Aries. So nothing huge to report for you guys, but it can just bring about a new perspective on things because the 3rd house does rule your mind, your logical mind. So just a new perspective on things, a new way to travel, a new place to go in your neighborhood, just little things. And also it does rule siblings and cousins. So maybe a new beginning in the life of one of those people can happen for Aries. Yeah, so that's really it for Aries for the new moon in Gemini. Maybe a new friendship or joining a new like small group or team. Like I have found personally the 3rd house to also rule like co-workers, not the work environment, that's the 6th house, not career, that's the 10th, but co-workers, people that you work with on a day-to-day basis can also sometimes be seen by the 3rd house. So there can be like a new co-worker, a new teammate, if you're on a team for anything in life with the new moon there. So that's for Aries. Moving on to Taurus, a new moon in the 2nd house. Hallelujah, Taurus. The 2nd house is Taurus stuff. It's money, finances, the material world, all the Taurus ruled stuff that Tauruses love. So this could be a new beginning, a clearing out of something to bring in something new. Maybe you guys get a raise at work because this is also the house of earning money, your earned income, like you actually going to work and actually like doing something to make money, you know? So new moon in the 2nd house, awesome, awesome, awesome for Tauruses. Maybe you can find a new way to make money, like a new job, although jobs are not normally seen from the 2nd house, but it's making money. So a new job, a second job, you know, something new with money, pretty much. A new material possession, like a new, like big purchase or something that you really like can come about with a new moon in the 2nd house, or just a new way to look at handling money, look at the material world itself. Can be a new moon in the 2nd house as well. Yeah, so that's for Tauruses. Now for Gemini, this is a new moon in your sign, Gemini. This is awesome. This can mean like the first house is the self, the body, the life path. But I mean, it can mean a new beginning all around anywhere, in any part of your life, Gemini. Feeling renewed, feeling refreshed, reborn. This is Gemini season. Happy of the sun being in Gemini. So happy birthday to all Geminis who were born from May through June. Happy birthday, early birthday to all of you guys. I hope you guys are able to turn up. Gemini rules youth. And a lot of Geminis, no matter how old they are very youthful people. So they know what the phrase turn up means. That's probably a Gemini invented that. A Gemini or a Sag or a Leo. But we're on Gemini. So yeah, Geminis, happy birthday. If you were born around the 25th, maybe a few days before, a few days after, this is definitely a huge event for you, a new moon in your sign around your degree of your sun in Gemini. Or if you're a Gemini ascendant around those degrees, Gemini moon, a new beginning in your life is about to happen. I've seen new moons in the first house. You know, I recently watched a YouTube video of a young lady who decided she wanted to get some kind of surgery to correct something on her face or something that she didn't like. And then when a new moon happened in her sign, she said, you know what? I've just decided not to do that. The first house is the body. So there could be something that you decide to do or not to do that has to do with your body, changing something with your body or with your appearance in general. But Gemini's like change. So it's probably more leaning on the side of you guys want to change something. So yeah, that could be it for you guys. But yes, happy birthday, Gemini. So for Cancer, this is a new moon in your 12th house. This is a more private area. This is like your deep subconscious mind. This is more internal. And Cancers are more internal anyway because you're a water sign. There's a lot beneath the surface when it comes to water sign people like Cancers. And a new moon in your 12th house. The 12th house is how you let go of things, okay? And Cancers can have a hard time with that. All water signs can. So this may be you having to spiritually and emotionally let go of something. The 12th house, it rules like spirituality and a connection to God or the divine or the universe. So this is one of those let go and let God, that as that saying says, type of transit for Cancers. But it also can bring like in the more material world, like a new way for you to relax, okay? Or a faraway trip that you want to plan to get away from everyone and everything, actually physically and not just like up here and not just like staying home like Cancers like to do a lot, but actually getting away, okay? So it could be like just a letting go of something, Cancer, to allow a brand new 12-month cycle to begin once we have Cancer season next month. But before we can begin a new cycle, something has to end, right? And I'm not saying you're gonna die, Cancer, don't get all paranoid, okay? I'm saying that if there's something karmically that's still holding you back from enjoying life, from moving on from something, a new moon in your 12th house can really help to release that. Good time for meditation. And I think Carlene is going to be doing something on the new moon in Gemini that's may have some good practices for that. So you guys watch out for that too. So for Leo, this is a new moon in your 11th house. This is a very social area of your life or house in your chart to get technical and nerdy. So for Leos, this could be a new beginning, like as far as a new friendship that you develop, a group of people that you want to be associated with. Finally, you can like get into that group if it's some elite group or something, which Leos probably would like. Or it could be just like-minded individuals with a cause that you guys share like a similar concern for, you know, like charitable causes and stuff is also 11th house. A new social circle you guys can join with the new moon in your 11th house. And also this can, this 11th house is like social media networking. So if you're a Leo that depends upon social media networking, this can be something that brings something new, you know, something hopefully new, fresh, and exciting for Leo people. So next up is Virgo, a new moon in the 10th house. Now, okay, a new moon in the 10th house. For Virgos, this is something that is very important to Virgos because Virgo is a sign of work. Work, okay? That is Virgos, W-E-R-K. You guys are all about the work. Like doing a duty, fulfilling a duty, working very hard. That's a Virgo, you know, that's a Virgo thing. That's Virgo's nature. So a new moon in your 10th house, that's career. That's your social status. It's an earth energy and you're an earth sign. So it's your element. So it's something that can provide a new change in your career status, like a title that you hold. You can decide to switch paths in your career. This new moon can bring something with that, or at least it can bring the ideas to you, you know, to be able to start initiating things, Virgo. So pretty awesome for you guys. Career can be off the chain. Yes, work, work, work like Rihanna, okay? So for Libras, 9th house, the new moon in Gemini is in your 9th house. So the 9th house is expanding and broadening your horizons, okay? That can mean up here in the mind because it does rule the higher mind, like at higher education, college level education, reading really long books and manuals to retain a lot of information that's important to you. And the 9th house, I always look at the 9th house as like, you know, the 9th is before the 10th. The 10th is career. But what do you have to do first in order to get to the 10th house of career, the highest achievement that you can achieve in life? You have to go through some sort of training or education, usually, okay? So for Libras, this can be a completion of some higher educational pursuits. Or it can be a beginning, like you decide you want to go back to school. You want to broaden your horizons in your mind, but also it could be like physically broadening your horizons. Actually getting out into some adventurous stuff, traveling, planning a long distance trip, Libra, that's, you know, some things that can come about for you with the new moon. Or even a new perspective for you guys too, just like Aries. But this is it's like seeing life from a bigger perspective of like, besides your little world every day, you can see things like a whole new world, like Aladdin or something like that. Like, oh, now I see the light, you know? So that's the new moon for Libra. Now for Scorpio, this is a new moon in our 8th house. Scorpio. The 8th house is the Scorpio house in everybody's chart because Scorpio is the 8th sign on the regular zodiac wheel, going in order. And so anything 8th house, even if it's not in Scorpio, that is going to be some Scorpio things. So a new moon here in this house is like brand new Scorpio-esque things happening for us in life. So, what the 8th house rules though is taxes, insurance, passive income. Excuse me. Passive income though, it doesn't have to mean anything scary. Like I know a lot of people mention inheritances with the 8th house, like, oh my gosh, someone dies and that's how you get money. It's not always that. Passive income, let me tell you, as a Scorpio rising, Gemini is our 8th house. I've been looking into some passive income stuff. Like you can, if you're a social media person, you could find like a way to have affiliate links to where if people just click on a certain link that you post, you can get paid. You get paid. Or you creating a product that you can sell, that you create the product and it sells itself, okay? And then you just have money coming in. That's passive income too. So it doesn't have to be scary stuff. But also it can mean a new beginning as far as if you're in a partnership, a romantic partnership or a business partnership to where you guys share resources like money. This could be a new beginning for them that affects you too. Like say, for example, you're married, your relationship partner, your husband or wife, whatever, they can maybe get a raise, have something new happen with their income. Hopefully it's something good, right, Scorpio? that sort of thing, or a completion of something like with taxes. I know in America it was tax season up until last month. People struggled a lot with it, I'm sure. So a new beginning with 8th house stuff. And it can also mean an intimate relationship. Finally letting those Scorpio barriers down. You know, Scorpios, we can have this protective exoskeleton shell thing around us to where it's hard to allow people in. You know, maybe we've been like, while it was Taurus season, that's our 7th house of relationships. Maybe someone was trying to get to know us. Maybe somebody was like trying to holler at Scorpios, like, I'm interested in you. But Scorpios, we're so distrusting of people, like questioning of their motives. Maybe their motives are actually good. And now it's time to say, okay, let me open up and allow you into my world a little bit. Still got to be mysterious though, you know. And allow you to get to know me on a deeper level. So that can be also a new moon in the 8th house. So for Sagittarius, new moon in the 7th house. Ooh, Sagittarius. This is relationships. Gemini season is relationship season for Sag. This is when you guys are either craving relationships, you are like, you're in a relationship and there's a spotlight on it now. Like, you're seeing what you want, what you don't want, what you would like to change within your relationship. And or you're just dating a lot, dating around, you know. Sag is very explorative. That's a word, right? Explorative, whatever. You guys like to explore a lot, okay, Sagittarius? So yeah, they are having some new beginnings with their relationship status, possibly. So maybe some Sagittarius might decide to take things to the next level with a partner, decide to be committed. They might decide to break up with someone. That happens too, okay? Even though new moons are like, oh, they're wonderful new beginnings. Well, wonderful new beginning can be a clearing out of a relationship that wasn't good for you. But maybe you thought it, you think it is at the moment, but once there's a clearing out of that relationship and you see it from a different perspective, it's like, oh, yeah, they were an a-hole. They were toxic. Like, I'm glad they're gone. You might see that in the future. But now there could be a clearing out of something like that for you guys. Or yeah, you can welcome in a new relationship, or just see relationships as a whole in a new perspective, Sagittarius. So that's for you guys. So for Capricorn, a new moon in Gemini is in your 6th house. This is work. This is health. Sally said she's hooking up her black book. Sally, are you a Sag? Let me know. Now we're on to Capricorn though. Capricorn, this is your 6th house of work and health. So a new beginning there can mean a new job. It can mean a new beginning with how you take care of yourself. A new regimen that you would adapt, like start going to the gym, start a new diet. A lot of people start diets on new moons. I've seen that. So some of my Cappies can participate in that new moon ritual of a cleansing too. Like detoxes are good on new moons. So keep that in mind, Capricorn. Yeah, but a new job. Capricorns love their jobs, right? So maybe a new job or new beginning in the work environment, a new position at the same job, same company. Those are all things that a new moon can bring for a Capricorn. So for Aquarius, this is a new moon in the 5th house. Ooh, Aquarius, hold on. So Aquarius, new moon in the 5th. 5th house is romance and fun. Aquarians are lucky because their 5th house of romance and fun is in a fun sign, which is Gemini. It's all about variety. And that does make sense when I think about Aquarius, in general, the sign of Aquarius. But maybe we'll talk more in depth about that in another broadcast. But yeah, a new moon in the 5th house, this can mean maybe a new romantic partnership, not a committed one. It's more like dating around and like, you know, texting, oh, I got a good morning text from so-and-so. Oh, good morning, beautiful, or good morning, handsome, how are you? And, you know, just those stages of getting to know somebody, fun and flirty ways of getting to know someone. That's the 5th house. It's like there's butterflies in your stomach because you're so excited to hear from that person, but like they're still at a distance, you know? It's not somebody that lives with you, that you see day to day. That's more like the 7th and 8th house. No, this is fun, like dating fun, like you guys go fun places. So that's a new moon in the 5th house for Aquarius. It could bring a new experience like that to you, but it's also children. 5th house is also children. So a new beginning in the lives of your children are possible, or maybe some of you guys can be extra fertile. Gemini season is fertile, however you say it, season for Aquariuses. So just keep that in mind, Aquarius, while you're out there having all that romantic fun. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So, hope you guys have fun, Aquarius. Hope the new moon brings something fun and awesome to you guys. Now, Pisces, a new moon in the 4th house. So a new moon in the 4th house can bring, maybe some Pisces might be moving or decide to move with a new moon in their 4th, completing and finalizing a move. Maybe they just want a better sense of comfort in their home. You know, whatever that means for you, Pisces. So maybe that means you want to change some things around in your house, decorate it differently, so it feels more comfy and homey to you. You know what I mean? This can also just mean family life, a new beginning in your family life, Pisces. So maybe somebody moves in, somebody moves out for the good. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I've experienced that before, having people live with you, and then it's like there's a new moon in the 4th and they move out, and it's like, oh, what a relief. Because Pisces, we love our alone time. And Pisces, we absorb other people's energy around us. And if it's negative, it's going to affect our energy field in a negative way. So sometimes people leaving, you know, is a good thing. But also, yeah, we like our alone time. Somebody's saying, please let her move out. Are you a Pisces? Because I'm hoping that this new moon brings that to you. If you are, it's eccentric 954. I'm hoping so for you. I'm rooting for you. So yeah, you know, Pisces, yeah, we really love our space and our alone time. But also this can be a new beginning in the life of your family, maybe reconnecting with family. Gemini season is family season for Pisces in general. So it may be a time to reconnect with family or renew and refresh your relationship with a family member, maybe even like a female family member, a mother figure, because that's also what the 4th house rules, like moms, aunts, grandmas, great-grandmas, stuff like that. That reminds me, I do need to call my mom and my my grandma. And Mother's Day just passed, and I am so late on mailing their Mother's Day gift. I know, terrible, right? So maybe I should do that as a Pisces. This is family stuff, right? So that was it for the forecast for May 19th through the 26th. Now I'm going to get into some celebrity coffee talk, okay? So if you don't really care about that stuff, you can exit stage left, whatever direction left is from your view. But if you do want to hear a little bit of celebrity stuff before I sign off, then stick around. So hold on. All right, so the only thing I really got for you guys, unless anybody wants to leave any celebrity or headline stuff in the comments for me to briefly look at if there's time. I think Lada is coming on in about 15 minutes, but I'll have to verify with her. So luckily Mercury is in Taurus and I can talk faster, okay, to get through stuff. Hopefully you guys can understand me. So the only thing I really have for you guys is I saw a commercial for this guy, the Hollywood medium, Tyler Henry, and he's only 21, just turned 21. And that's what I was, I noticed that commercial. It caught my attention. And I had seen him before, like on some other TV show where they hired him to come in and inspect their house to see if there were spirits there or something. And I was like, really? Is this dude for real? But I looked at his chart, of course. I looked at his chart to see, is this guy the real deal? Does he have abilities? Or is he a scammer? It's kind of like, okay, so all of you guys are tuned in. Obviously, you're open to astrology. You're open to the occult. You're open to metaphysical and things that are unseen, but you can still believe in them because they have been proven to you and you believe it in your heart, right? But what is unseen and metaphysical, and I watched Wendy Williams She called it sorcery. I'm like, oh Lord, Wendy. So that's how our stuff, okay, our occult stuff is known in the mainstream as being sorcery and weird and witchcraft and creepy and a lot of times fake. But for good reason. There's a lot of phonies out there. And then when people gain fame off of this type of thing, it is questionable too. I admit, I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptical person, even though I'm a believer in the metaphysical world. But it is something that's like, it's touchy, okay? It is touchy. It's all on the individual's perspective of what they see and believe, or they feel and believe. And not everybody can tune into that stuff in this world we live in, this society that's so materialistic. Everything has to be manifested materially in front of people for them to believe it. So when this type of thing comes into the mainstream, people are like, you know that little emoji that they have now, the skeptical guy, he looks like a Capricorn, he's like, you know, that's how people's faces are towards this stuff. But I've encountered some sketchy supposed psychics in my lifetime, okay, since I was a kid. People coming up to me and telling me, oh my God, I'm a psychic and I have something to tell you. Or me visiting those $10 psychics, and then they tell you little bits and pieces that sound like they could be true, but then they say, pay me $180 and I'll get rid of this dark cloud of negativity around you. Right, babe? My husband's here. We saw this psychic in LA. We were like, oh, we're in LA. Let's see an LA psychic. Maybe they might be the real deal because they might see celebrities, you know, whatever. It was stupid. This was years ago. We saw this lady and it was for $10. She told us a few things that could have been true. And then she saw us individually, right? And so we didn't know what each of us were being told. And then we found out later, she told both of us the same crap. You have a negative energy around you. You guys are soulmates, but in order to really be together, you have to have me remove this dark cloud around you for $180. And we were like, yeah, we live in a different city. So we can't do that right now. And then she said, oh, you can send me a check. And we're like, no, this lady is bullshit here, you know? And it was funny. It was a funny, fun experience. And I saw another psychic at like a little fair one time, not at a metaphysical or new age store. It was like on this, like a street fair, $10, same thing. For $180, I'll remove negative energy. So with all that being said, I understand why people are sketchy and skeptical about psychics, people who claim to have psychic ability. But I looked at Tyler Henry's chart to see, does he really have any abilities? Because there are specific indicators in a chart where you can see someone who has enhanced intuition, I guess. Everybody has intuition, but they listen to theirs more than other people. And they can receive messages from unseen sources, let's just say that, a little easier than other people can. So I looked at Tyler's chart, and before I did that though, I'll show you guys his chart in a sec really quick. But before I did that, I did a little research on him. I watched a few of his videos to pick up on his vibe. And I don't claim, I am not a psychic personally, but I do have a little bit of abilities where I can read people just by watching them and listening to them talk, okay? And I think he does have abilities. So I watched a few of his videos and I listened to what he said. And somebody asked him, well, how do you find a good psychic? If somebody can't reach you, Tyler, as a professional, you know, that's known, yes, that's who I'm talking about, the young blonde kid on the Hollywood Psychic. Someone asked him, what's the best way to get a good psychic, like a real psychic? And he said, don't call those 1-800 numbers, but rather get like word of mouth, like somebody who's actually been to a psychic, a particular one. Like recommendation is the best way to find a good psychic. Now that right there struck me as, okay, he may be the real deal, because that's absolutely true. In my vision and my experience. I have encountered real psychics that have told me real things, and they're people that have never met me, never seen me before, but they were like referrals. Okay. So I'm like, okay, maybe he might be the real deal. And then I also saw something somewhere that said Independent Investigations Group awarded the show The Hollywood Medium with some sort of truly terrible television award. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, of course they would, because this type of thing being mainstream is always going to get a lot of criticism. Okay. But he also said, you know, that his abilities are not like the movie The Sixth Sense, the kid that's like, oh, I see dead people. He said it's not like that. I don't see dead people walking around. It's nothing corny like that. He's like, he explained his abilities, his gifts of clairvoyance. And I'm like, okay, he's explaining it in a real way. He might be the real deal. So let me show you guys his chart for my fellow astrology buffs who actually know how to read charts. Let me show you what I see in his chart that can point out, okay, he might be the real deal with his abilities. So let me screen share really quick just to show you guys. And I'll explain what I see with him. Can you guys see his chart? Okay. So this is Tyler Henry. I don't know his birth time. Whenever I don't know someone's birth time, I do a 6 a.m. sunrise chart. That's just the way I do it. It's called a solar chart, which means everything is set up in the chart based on the person's sun. And you can also do, if you don't know your ascendant and you want to know like what house is being affected by what, you can do a solar chart and it works in a similar way for horoscopes, predictions, transits, all that good stuff. So this is Tyler Henry's chart. And look at here. He has the sun in Capricorn conjunct Neptune in Capricorn. So let me tell you about Sun conjunct Neptune, people. I'm not saying every single one of them are psychic, but I have a few close to me, including a relative, and they are indeed very highly sensitive to the energy of other people. Look at the symbol for Neptune. I always compare it to an antenna. Doesn't it look like an old school antenna? Like for those old enough to remember the TVs that you got to put an antenna on the top in order to receive all the channels clearly? Okay, well, that's what Neptune's symbol here looks like to me. And it actually does work that way for some people. They receive a lot of information that is unseen to other people, but they can get that channel really clear. Okay, so Sun conjunct Neptune in Capricorn is one indicator of him having abilities in my eyes, okay? And then the next one is he has Mercury conjunct Uranus. Okay, now Uranus is also an antenna. Look at it. Doesn't it look like a little space station that we would be floating around the Earth like out in outer space collecting data, you know, from the outer space world, okay, from the cosmos? Well, that's Uranus. And someone who has Mercury that rules their mind and their communication in a tight conjunction with Uranus like that, they do have the ability to get flashes of insight into things. I wish I knew his time of birth to know what house this is all happening in. My guess would be it might be in a water house, like the 4th, the 8th, the 12th. That would enhance his abilities. And yeah, so his Mercury conjunct this antenna, Uranus. Yeah, he does receive some sort of messages that other people can't see. And Uranus rules waves, like the air waves, the radio waves. We can't see those things, can we, guys? But when you turn on a radio, isn't there music there or talking or whatever you want to listen to? Yeah, that's how that works. So his Mercury picks up on different stations, okay, that are out there. So for him, that is speaking to spirits in the spirit world. Also, his Mercury's conjunct Mars, which I could tell a lot by listening to him talk. He does kind of just, he can fire things off rapidly, like very quickly. So whatever he sees or hears or senses, he can just fire it off like quickly. He doesn't take the time to think about it and make some crap up. He actually just spits it out and like just says it. And I try to find, like, these are asteroids that are known to point out abilities in people. I just very quickly plugged a few in that I knew off the top of my head to see if he had any close conjunctions or aspects or anything. The only one that I could see that I could rely on is the asteroid Psyche in a trine to his Mercury. Okay, he can dig into the psyche of other people. He can have some abilities. And then we don't know his time of birth to know the degree of his moon, but it could be either conjunct Chiron or the North Node, which could enhance one's abilities in some ways, but I would speak about them more if I knew the exact degree of his moon. So that is Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium. That's his chart. So that's what I wanted to show you guys about him. So that's really the only like celebrity stuff I have. Hold on, let me go back to the chat and see. Here we go. Okay. So let me go back to this. Okay, so the one he did on Bobby Brown. Yeah, see, that's what made me investigate him a little more, is because he didn't know who Bobby Brown was, but he knew who Bobby Christina was, and he knew who Whitney Houston was when he did a reading for Bobby Brown. So I'm like, I'm a little skeptical about that. My Scorpio spidey senses were tingling a little bit, like, really? But then I listened to another interview where he explained it more, where he was like, I didn't know, like, he said that when these meetings are set up for him, that he doesn't know where he's being sent, okay? He doesn't know where he's going to be sent, who he's going to be reading for. It's always a surprise when he gets there. And when he got to Bobby Brown's house, Bobby was just chilling in some sweatpants. He didn't even know who he was, okay? He didn't know Bobby Brown, but he knew of Bobby, Christina, and Whitney and whatever. So I'm like, okay, he could be the real deal, but I would love to know his birth time. Tyler, if you're watching, give me your birth time so I can look at your chart. All right, so that was it, guys. I think Lotta's going to be coming on very shortly here with a live video, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for joining me with Coffee Talk this week. Next time, if there's not a show right after mine, I'll take some questions, a few Q&A questions. If you're watching the replay of this and you want me to look at any celebrity stuff for next week, then leave it in the comments, and I will do some Scorpio investigations of them. All right, guys, so thank you for tuning in. I hope your week goes well. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys next Friday. All right, so peace out, everybody.